Steve Agee is one of the worst offenders because he really thinks it's funny if he messes with you off camera while you're trying to,
Yes.
usually while you're doing something very serious.
I did have one very small moment thing with Tim Meadows, and I could not stop laughing.
We're a big fan of yours at Joe Blow. Love all your projects.
Thanks,
And
brother.
it's very cool to see you having played this character now three different ways, animated, big screen, and now this series. Have you found something new in playing Rick in this series than you did in any of the previous incarnations of the role?
Yeah, it's he's got a different job title, and along with that comes different behavior, and it's new, it's new stuff. And I think Flag is not always sure of himself when he's in that office and what he's doing. Also coupled with the fact that he's clouded by this revenge journey that he's on. So yeah, they're all very different experiences, and it's been really fun to kind of explore all of that.
Awesome. And Jennifer, for you, I think your character gets into more fights in these first episodes than in the entirety of the first season, both kicking ass and getting your ass kicked. Was it a challenge from a physical standpoint this season for you?
It was a welcomed, incredible challenge that I'm so grateful that someone entrusted me with this challenge. I mean, I had such a joyful experience getting to, number one, take on the responsibility of making sure that Harcourt looked like a person who was incredibly strong. I didn't want her to look like a scrawny person who was fighting all these large dudes. I really did want to make sure that she looked incredibly strong. And so I worked with a personal trainer to bring that to life as much as possible, because look, she's not a superhero, right? She's just a human being. She's just regular woman. And so I wanted it to be as real as possible that she could do these things. And the part of that, suspension of belief for the audience is easier if the person looks like they are assuming the position.
Acting is hard, physical is hard. Who was the most challenging person from just a funny standpoint that kind of ruined takes over and over again, or made it a challenge for you to get through these scenes?
I mean, I'll say that there are two people on set who are the worst offenders, and I would say that Steve Agee is one of the worst offenders because he really thinks it's funny if he messes with you off camera while you're trying to,
Yes.
usually while you're doing something very serious, and you're like, come on, man,
Yeah.
get it together. But then also just working with John Cena, when he's improving things, or he gets so much joy. Like, you see this glimmer of just the sparkle in his eye when he makes you break character, and he makes you laugh. And so those are probably the two.
Yeah, and I'd throw in Tim Meadows, because Tim Meadows, who was a favorite of mine on Saturday Night Live for many years, he's got this dry delivery, and he's just, I could laugh just talking about him. So when I was around the set and he would talk, he would just crack. It was like watching a Saturday Night Live skit. So I gotta say, he's another culprit.
Who is the hardest person to act opposite and keep a straight face when you're trying to deliver these moments and they're cracking you up? Who was the most challenging scene mate this season?
Steve Agee, first season and second season.
Yeah.
Really?
He always makes me laugh. He started it from literally day one for me. But he's the hard one for me to keep a straight face.
Yeah. Steve Agee's he messes around as well. So when it's not on his coverage, he gets even funnier when it's not on his coverage. He's really going for you. He's pretty much that. Although I will say I did have one very small moment thing with Tim Meadows, and I could not stop laughing. And I've seen all his SNL stuff. I just, everything he was doing was making me laugh. And I told James, I was like, I hope you got something out of that, because I think I spent 80% of the little moments of the scene that we were trying to improvise just laughing because he's too good.
And Freddie, would you, if this series could continue indefinitely, what would you like for your character's path to be? Like, do you eventually want him to just get a friend, or do you want him to get to a point where he's maybe like the star of his own story?
Well, playing him just in any shape or form is the goal. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because he is the jester, he is the clown of the group. So there's parts of me that think like I don't know if he could be his own thing, but then you never say never. I feel like I wouldn't have necessarily thought Joker would have gone the way it did, but you can find ways to explain someone, and that can also in itself be fascinating. Like why you could have some kind of solo thing with, I guess, why is Vigilante the way he is, and you could even go back in time and have him potentially be slightly more normal, maybe some trauma, something that made him that way, or whatever else it is. But in his current, in the current space that he's in, I think he's kind of the jester. I find it hard to imagine him taking the reins.
And when you're in a project, acting is a challenge to begin with, but when you're dealing with somebody talking to you about things like bird blindness, or somebody asking you to quiz them about spiders and things like that, how do you keep a straight face and stay in character when it's just ridiculousness?
You can't.
You don't. It's usually like, okay, we've done this like 15 times already. Now let's do it without laughing. Like, eventually it becomes like, okay, I'm tired. Let's just say,
let's go.
Please don't laugh.
Let's go home.
Yeah, it's hard not to laugh with Tim Meadows. Like that whole scene in the van when I first meet him and him talking about having bird blindness, which I've talked to quite a few people in interviews who've told me that they had to actually Google to see if bird blindness was a thing, which it is not. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the show that's hard to get through without laughing.
Definitely.
And Soul, for you, you're playing a character that exists in comics. Did you go back to the source material to inspire this performance, or did you just kind of have an opportunity to make it your own?
I mean, I definitely went and read as much as I could, everything about her online. But I made it my own, absolutely. With, the scripts and James and talking to him and working with him on set, I definitely gave it my own, but I kept what Sasha is in the comics, to honor her and the fans, because I know they want to see her. But I definitely brought my own thing to it. But it was really, really fun to play her. It's one of my favorite characters ever that I've played, for sure.
And what I love about this season is everybody gets to interact with everybody else. There's a lot of pairing off and groups that are going on. So I wanted to ask, even though Steve's right next to you, who was the hardest person to keep a straight face working with?
Steve was definitely one of them. Absolutely, yes. Tim, nah. I loved working with
Judo
Nah.
master, yeah.
Yeah, Judo Master. Jen, we worked together towards the end of the season, but once we started working together, I loved being on scenes with her. Who else? Danielle, I had very few scenes with her. And Freddie, I don't even know if I even...
Did you just meet Freddie
I just met Freddie today. No, and yeah, and with Frank is a little more serious. He can throw a joke here and there, but when he's on set, he's very focused. But definitely, so Steve and Tim are the ones that it was the hardest to do scenes with because of always.
I'd say Tim. Tim is
my God.
So damn funny.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joe Blow was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.